To talk more on the COVID-19 developments is joining me now is Sydney's Northern Beaches Independent MP and member for Warringah, Zali Stago. Good afternoon to you, Zali.
Hi, how you going?
I'm well. Just 8 new cases from more than 44,000 tests. Can we take some comfort from those results?
Absolutely, and I really want to thank everybody from the Northern Beaches and everyone that's gone to get tested. That is a fantastic result. Thank you to all the health professionals that have been working so hard around the clock to make that, to get us those results. I think that's really heartening to know that the lockdown is working, staying at home is reducing the spread, and that record number of tests being done shows that we're really limiting that risk that there are unidentified cases in the community. So it's really heartening. I know it's tough for a lot of people though, so I think we all need to take that encouragement where we can.
Yeah, absolutely. And as the Premier said this morning, this shows the strength of our team, our health team, our experts here in Australia, particularly in New South Wales, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I think everyone is absolutely pulling together to make this happen. Look, it's really interesting the feedback we get on social media and from the community. There's still a couple of little things that we could be improving on. And if I could give the feedback, elderly are very concerned about joining queues for testing. And so I think some consideration about better access for elderly to be able to get tested would be great. And we're also hearing of discrepancies between timing to get results. So some people get results back within a few hours, some take 12, and some are taking 2 to 3 days. So again, I think consistency is key for people to have confidence in the system and how it's working. But there's no doubt everyone has stayed home. The amount of mask wearing has increased dramatically, and everyone is really pulling together to try and stop the spread of the virus as quickly as possible for this holiday season.
I'm glad you pointed those 2 points out, because I had noticed that feedback on social media as well, that, some people are getting their results unbelievably quickly and other people, it seems they're waiting days.
Yeah, and look, the Premier mentioned this morning in her press conference. The problem is, regardless of if you've gotten a negative test result, if you're considered a close contact or you've been to one of the key venues, you still have to isolate for 14 days. And so people are getting a little bit confused about, once they get a negative test, does that mean they're in the clear? So we're really encouraging everyone to stay up to date with the latest information. But it is really important to have consistency around testing, because a lot of people have gone and gotten tests, and then if they're in employment, their businesses can't operate whilst their workforce is isolating. And so if people are waiting 2 to 3 days for a test result, that means they're probably not attending their work. So businesses that are already really struggling with the shutdown are finding themselves doubly hit with whatever workforce that may be available is waiting on test results. So, I know everyone is working as hard as they can and is really doing their best, but they're the little bits of feedback where I think we can still learn and do it a little bit better.
We've also been discussing a lot the border shutdown, I suppose, here in New South Wales, particularly on the Northern Beaches. We're feeling rather isolated. The Premier has addressed this morning as well. What's your take on the borders? Do you think they have been closed too quickly, given that we are, in fact, on a downward spiral so far, touch wood?
Yeah, look, I probably do echo the Premier's words in terms of, I would like to hope that leaders around the country and other state premiers can be commensurate with their response. And I think tarnishing the whole of New South Wales with the same brush as what's happening in a fairly isolated is probably disproportionate. Again, I would trust the health advice. If the health professionals have concerns of spread, then make those appropriate responses. I think what the community is really calling for is that the responses be commensurate with the risk, but that there also be common sense and some, this is a really hard time of the year. And so I think hard shutdowns of borders for a whole of states is probably disproportionate. But again, they have access to their health professionals and they are answerable to the people in their state.
We will find out tomorrow at 11 a.m. I imagine the entire nation will be watching the New South Wales Premier tomorrow. But in the grand scheme of things, and I mentioned this a little earlier in the program, Christmas is one day, and while we would love to be with our families, all of us, are we prioritising one day over a potential further devastating outbreak in this country?
Well, look, I think we're all quite pragmatic in the sense that 2020 has already been a very disrupted year. We've had to give way on a lot of things. You know, my son graduated from year 12. We had to do a graduation ceremony via Zoom. We couldn't do the traditional Anzac Day ceremonies. A lot of things got disrupted this year. So I don't think everyone is too hung up on Christmas, but it is important. People are feeling it emotionally and mentally. It's been a long year, and people do need to come together in families and to celebrate and give thanks for their year. So I don't think you can discount the importance of it emotionally for people, but it is just one day, and in the grander scheme of things, when you think of the risk of spreading, then I absolutely have my full confidence in the health professionals that they will put in place the measures that are necessary to keep the spread of the virus under control.
You know, as the Premier said this morning as well, that we do need to consider the mental health ramifications of people, because this has been an unbelievably tough year. Everyone has been impacted one way or another. This is something else that the government has to juggle as well in making this decision ahead of tomorrow, I imagine.
It is, and I think what everyone maybe to remember is I don't think anyone's trying to mess this up. Like, everyone is genuinely trying to respond appropriately in a measured way to keep people safe as much as possible while still allowing some business to operate and the economy to keep turning. And I think we're all trying to do that to the best of our abilities. And so, you know, I think we're all very thankful. The overwhelming message I get from the electorate is people are incredibly thankful at the response, at how quickly we've gotten moving. I think there's lessons to be learnt in terms of rolling out such large-scale testing in a very sort of distinct area. I think, you know, there's clearly a few things that can be done better or more efficiently, but overwhelmingly, the response has been positive. People are incredibly thankful that they want this under control. So, yes, families and friends and all our loved ones, this is a tough time.
Well, I think it's safe to say we can all agree that we are very lucky and grateful to be in this wonderful country of ours through all of this. Member for Warringah, Zali Steggall, thank you very much. Wishing you and your family a wonderful, safe, healthy Christmas.
Thank you very much, and to all your viewers as well.
Thank you.